Alright, this is kind of like a rookie era 101. I landed in St. Kitts and Nevis yesterday, filmed a whole bunch of stuff in St. Kitts and Nevis, came home, transferred all these files from my iPhone to a simple USB, plugged the USB in my computer with these files, just end up a video, left it running, but then all of a sudden, overnight, all the files on this thing were gone. Don't know why. Some corruption crap, I guess. So therefore, yesterday's footage is all kaput because I was dumb enough not to put it on my hard drive because, well, my hard drive is a limited amount. So you can still find most of my videos and stories on Instagram that was actually filmed on my other iPhone, but I don't really like filming on my iPhone because, like, 5 seconds after starting a video, it's got really crappy audio. So I have to get out on my last full day in St. Nevis and like look around again and vlog again. So here goes nothing. Disregard the messiness. I have paid a total of £55 sterling for this shack. It's in the back of the ladies' business. It's got a kitchen, workable, but I'm not gonna use that. I use a kettle, a fridge, and then it's got a bathroom. Now, if I was staying in a hotel, this would have cost me about, I guess, $100 a night, but this is in my currency, like £55 sterling a night. When you're traveling in the Caribbean, always best to book on Airbnbs because you get much greater value and friendly people. Even my host gave me a lovely bottle of water today. But also, I don't really go out for breakfast. I just basically bought bananas and pineapple and had the leftover of my rice and beans for breakfast. So, let's go out now. I'm walking down from my Airbnb onto the main road and just walk into town. Now, yesterday I walked from the airport over there into my Airbnb and then into town. Went to the Catholic Cathedral for Mass at 10 o'clock. Got gifted a lovely pen, bookmark, and information about the cathedral and some mints. I then went into the ferry port and I met 3 lovely South African expats who live in Florida and South Africa. And we went to Nevis for the day. They did their own thing. I just had a look around the Jewish cemetery and the Andrew Hamilton, the Hamilton Museum that was closed. But Nevis isn't really a good place to visit on Sunday because everything is closed on Sundays, I guess. As you can see here, houses all over the Caribbean are really pretty and beautiful. Really painted colourful, yes. So, I came to St. Kitts and Nevis because I didn't really want to spend 4 days just on Antigua. I did have plans to stay in English Harbour at a hostel for 4 days, but then I backtracked and decided to stay at a hotel in, not in St. John's, but near the airport of Antigua, so I could fly into St. Kitts yesterday. I must say that flying between islands in the Caribbean isn't cheap. It's cost me $220 return between Antigua and St. Kitts. But it's given myself like 48 hours on the island of St. Kitts, and Sally, I don't think I'm gonna be able to see anything of Antigua when I arrive back at 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, because my flight home is 9 o'clock at night, so it just doesn't seem really like worthwhile to try to get into St. John's and back. A bit too stressful for me, so I'll pass. So if you look at the top over there, you can see the church steeples of the Catholic Church. That's where I went yesterday. And there's been signs everywhere to celebrate 41 years since St. Kitts and Nevis has became independent. So they are independent from the United Kingdom, but the British monarch is still the head of state. And also, funny would you believe that the island of Nevis had a referendum 25 years ago to see if they could become their own country, and they won. They won 95% of the vote, and 5% of the vote was against. So they are independent from the United Kingdom, but the British monarch is still the head of state. And also, funny would you believe that the island of Nevis had a referendum 25 years ago to see if they could become their own country, and I think they voted no, but I believe they didn't really get a good majority. So like you can't really split up St. Kitts and Nevis. It's like you can't split up Trinidad and Tobago, and you can't split up Antigua and Barbuda. So they use the East Caribbean dollars here, which pegged to the US dollar at like $1 is like 2.5 East Caribbean dollars, but my currency, a pound buys at least 3.6 East Caribbean dollars. Now, I was hanging out with 3 South Africans on the ferry to and fro Nevis yesterday, and I spoke about there was a train you could take around the island, and they basically told me it was this bit of a rip-off. It was like $90 US, but it's like a 3-hour trip. It covers the whole island. Now, things are going to be overpriced here in the Caribbean and all. You just can't really compare prices to what you'd get in, let's just say, Africa, or you know, cheaper parts of Europe or Thailand or Southeast Asia or whatever. Like, it's just difference here. The thing is, everything seems to be imported from either America or Canada or Mexico. I keep seeing Canadian dry soft drinks here, but I mean, at least they do have like locally brewed beer, even though there isn't any like 0% for me. You can get around cheaply if you use buses, but taxis would tend to cost you a lot of money. I remember Drew Binsky came here a couple of years ago. They wanted $80 to go to someplace else in St. Kitts for a day, and so he basically just said, okay, I don't have the budget for it, so he just went out and played golf. I'm pretty much just walking around because I just see the capital is in like walking distance, and you can do it all, but I may or may not take a bus to see where it goes. May get out of the capital and somewhere north for a bit, and then take another bus back here. But the important thing was I made it to Nevis yesterday. Sorry, I'm getting my lovely Ghanaian shirt snagged on these things. Despite the shade and the sun, we've got the Catholic Cathedral right there. Co-Cathedral of Immaculate Conception. It's called the Catholic Cathedral for short. It was in the British Times and all. I came here yesterday, and the priest working here is from Ghana, and he was really flattered with my costume I was wearing. He said I have an African spirit in me, which is great. But then it's across the road from Independence Square, where independence was declared from the British in 1983. So this year it makes St. Kitts and Nevis 41 years old. Even though they were, what, the British or the Spanish came here, what, 1560 around that time? Yeah, years after, you know, Christopher Columbus came to the Americas. We got a lot of, you know, wild chickens, roosters, hens walking around. This is something I find quite, you know, weird in a this part of town, is to see these poultry running free. So we've got a lot of these British style phone boxes, which kind of symbolizes all the years of British colonialism and what the British brought over here. They don't want to take it down because it's like a slice of London here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And yes, here's the main fountain that commemorates St. Kitts and Nevis independence from the British in 1983. This green tower roundabout is the Berkeley Monument. And it was built in the 19th century. It's an old, like, you know, drinking fountain, I guess. There always has to be something with like tiny clock towers in the Commonwealth. Like, I'm certain there's one similar to this in St. Vincent and Grenadines, but also this kind of reminds you of the one in Vancouver, even though this one isn't blowing smoke out. This is what this Berkeley Memorial is. The drinking fountain has been erected by the countrymen and the private friends of the late, the Honourable Thomas Berkeley Hartman Berkeley, companion of the most distinguished order of St. Michael and St. George, and President of the General Legislative Council of the Leeward Islands. In recognition of the many valuable service he rendered his native land as a planter and a politician and a citizen, his sterling qualities, his love for this island, and his deep interest in the welfare of the community at large entitled him to a memorial by which his memory will be preserved and perpetuated. St. Kitts, January 1883. About 100 years later, St. Kitts became independent, and so that's his coat of arms. Drinking fountain ain't working as usual, but life goes on. In the downtown, I'm noticing many different American brands like Domino's or Burger King, as we call it Hungry Jack's in my country, or KFC. And I don't dine at these places because when I come to a new country, I want to stick locally. Like, I'm noticing there's like Chinese restaurants, a few Indian restaurants around here, because there's even plenty of Chinese people running shops in supermarket things, which is nice. But I like to stick to like local things and all, rather than just have something from my own country. It's like, okay, you could be Irish. I mean, I'm a bit Irish, but I don't go to Irish pubs because, well, I don't need to. I'd rather go to Ireland and have an Irish pub than, let's just say, come to an island in the Caribbean and go to an Irish pub. It doesn't blend well with me. So look at this. Jamaican and St. Kitts cuisine fused together. That's lovely. So I haven't been to Jamaica yet, but it inspires me. Although, it's nice to see that each of its country has its own different foods. I mean, I know the food conch. Yes, conch fritters is a national thing over here. And all over the Caribbean, it's all got to do with the fish, the seafood, the fly fish. But there's also patties. Yes, patties. All over the Caribbean, different types of patties, no matter where you go. Oh yes, another site of St. Kitts and Nevis this has to be the Anglican Cathedral. Yes. How can I tell that it's Anglican? Because they always build their churches in a tower shape like that. A bell tower and all. And the door is open, so it's open for visitors today. So this is St. George Anglican Church. The site was the first home of a Catholic church, Notre Dame, Our Lady. And there's also the burial grounds of Philippe de Longueville de Poissy, the French governor of the island from 1639 to 1660. The British destroyed the Catholic church and built an Anglican church named after St. George Parish. Wow. It just says right up there like 1856. Or no, or maybe like 18569, or maybe the 9 actually means like the month. Just walking through the burial ground. The sign says the French governor is actually buried on this site. Bit of a shame the tombstones have been broken away over time. But, oh, Mrs. Sarah Tyson, wife of Mr. Thomas Tyson, who departed this life 24th of November 1738, and the 45th year of her age, and aflow 7 children. Seaborn White, Thomas, Tracy, John, Sarah, Sarah E. Lehol, Mary. Let's see. Willa Patricia Hudnett, age 17 years. He died in faith and hope and charity. But Yeah, oh, they've got this one in Roman numerals. Thomas Webley, so this tomb doesn't have any engravings on. This one here is 1759. Now, I was visiting a war memorial in Nevis yesterday in the city centre, and it basically said to those people from Nevis who served in the Great War. But sadly, they didn't mention any names or any of the regiment, but I would have liked to believe it was the West Indian regiment they fought in, because they were featured in East Africa, I believe, yes. Now, we've got a few old tombs right here. Just trying to find the one which is of the French governor, because they say he's buried on the site, or maybe they took his remains back to France. To the memory of Charles Thornton Cunningham Escuri, the late Lieutenant Governor of St. Christopher and the Leeward Islands, who in the year 36 year of his age and the full figure of life, overwhelmed by the sudden view of the portrait of our recent deceased and much beloved sister, expired in a moment on the 14th day of January 1847. What a way to write a tombstone, like expired, not died, expired. Wow, this tree must be at least 300, 400 years old. Like the way how it's all grown like that. We got, oh yeah, so these tombs must be from the 19th century, because this is 1842. Honor of Ralph Bush Cleghorn, president of the island, who parted life in like 17th of March 1842, aged 57 years. As you just like look how amazing how old these brick buildings are. Like there, there, and there. And then you notice how like modern that building is over there and there. So these have all stood the test of time. Ah, so this is the local ones. This says on the tombstone she was born in Basseterre, St. Christopher, in 1824 and died 1836, so she died quite young. Jane Elizabeth Rand. This is inside the Anglican Cathedral. Love all the wooden architecture up there. And I'm surprised they got a Canadian flag flying and a St. George cross flying. Well, it is quite honoring to fly across St. George in an Anglican church, no matter where you are in the world. Yeah, I've been walking uphill up here, gonna go this way to where the government meets. I can see a tall brown monument in the distance, so I believe I'm getting near where the government meets, and also possibly where the Governor General, who represents King Charles III on St. Kitts and Nevis. At the Anglican church just back there, I had a lovely meeting with this guy called Stanley, and he told me all about the history of that Anglican church right there. And the interesting thing was the British took all the supplies from Yorkshire and shipped it all the way out to the Caribbean to build a Anglican church. So it's just quite amazing about what the British Empire was able to do, you know, taking stuff like the steel from Middlesbrough and building the Sydney Harbour Bridge in Australia, or how they took stuff from Yorkshire and built Anglican churches all around the Caribbean. It started raining here in St. Kitts. I knew it was going to happen because my pastor friend in London warned me that it was raining in a few days, and this morning it's raining, windy, and I could hear thunderstorms. So I forgot to pack my umbrella today in my bag, left it at home, didn't really think much about it. Did a walk all the way up to Government House to see where the Governor General lives and all. So I'm gonna get down this road when it stops raining a bit to the War Memorial. So it's just what we call it back in Australia was like a summer rain or summer drizzle, how it's sunny but it's actually raining and all. Like one half of the area could be sunny, the other half could be cloudy. See, it's all cloudy up there, all like sunny down there. So I need to make the most of my day. Just can't be sticking here for hours. I mean, I do have to keep my personal things safe, like my passport, but that's on a waterproof case and all. But this phone, I have to like wrap it up in this plastic bags, and I get really a bit annoyed that everything gets given in these black bags because it's not really good for the environment. Do bring your own bags to St. Kitts and Nevis and reuse them. Finally made it to the big War Memorial up here. This is St. Christopher and Nevis and Anguilla, to the glory of God and his memory of the men from this presidency who gave their lives in the World War II, 1939-1945. So these men all died, I believe, somewhere in Europe. I'll need to look them up when I get home. See, look how African that surname is, Farara. I've seen a lot of graves in like West Africa, especially like West African regiment with a surname Farara. Look at Basil Vera. Easily like Alves, Sydney, Peter, typical like Anglican names. But it's quite a beautiful day, despite a little sprinkling of weather. It's the courthouse over there. And then that's always towards the capital, and there's no cruise ship docked in today. They just like left yesterday. So this is all of the island of St. Kitts, and then that's right behind the island, that's Nevis. Oh, yes. And then also it commemorates these men from St. Christopher and Nevis who died in World War I. I'm walking back into town along the coastal road. Pretty much just like rocky shores. I think beaches would have to be maybe over that way and all. My buddy from South Africa did tell me that St. Kitts did have good beaches. But look, there's a bit of a, like a, I wouldn't say a shipwreck, but something sticking out of the water. Looks like it's one of a gun and all. Yeah. But Baruch Hashem, thank God it stopped raining right now. Otherwise I would be in a bit more strife if I couldn't find a shelter around here. Okay, I found a bit of a beach right here, but it's not really that impressive though, but it is something. Although it's much more sandy than the beaches of Brighton. Yeah, so you come to Brighton in England, the beaches are full of stones. In my opinion, just go to Bournemouth. Just getting close into town. And one thing I haven't seen in my last few days are like souvenir shops. You know, you're able to buy fridge magnets, key rings, hats, all that jazz and all. I really do want a fridge magnet from St. Kitts for my fridge at home, but I'm also going to keep a lot of my East Caribbean dollars and send them off to friends around the world who collect coins and all. So this is a terminal where all the cruise ship passengers come on in for like a day. It's always like shop, buy this, buy that, goods and services, duty free. There's no ship in today. There was a big one yesterday, but it seems like St. Kitts, like one day has all the tourists coming in on the planes, and the next day they're coming on the ships. There it is, like hashtag St. Kitts. Alright. So I just bought a few souvenirs. I bought 2 fridge magnets and a purse for one of my cousins in New Zealand. I don't really like buying souvenirs, but I got special friends I buy these things for, and it kind of helps that it'll inspire them to visit these countries one day. Like earlier this year, I was in Ghana, so I gave my South African buddy a fridge magnet, 5 Ghanaian cedis, and a lovely handmade key ring. Also, I just had like a saltfish dumpling with a salad and a what do you call it? A malt beverage, non-alcoholic. I shouldn't really be eating this type of stuff because I have like high blood pressure, my cholesterol is a bit up, my weight's increased, and I got heart disease in my family, so I have to be careful like what I eat and watch what I do. But the important thing is, at least I've been eating a lot of fresh fruit and veg on the island, like watermelon, pineapples, bananas, and all. To be quite honest with you, I did kind of break my sober streak by just having 2 beers yesterday, but I've gone like so many years without a beer, like an alcoholic beer. I thought, okay, I need to break my sober streak here. But I promised myself that I will remain sober for the entire time I have back in the United Kingdom, because that's what I'm like. I don't really like drinking. I never was an alcoholic, but it's becoming cloudy again. There's lots of the road to the rest of the island over there. I think I'm just gonna head back home soon, do a bit of shopping for my dinner. I had a really awful dinner last night, which is basically just consisted of like jerk pork. They had a serving of mac and cheese, some salad, and some rice and beans. I'm not really supposed to eat pork because I am part Jewish, but gave it a little try and didn't really like it. Yeah. So I'm just making my way outside of the cruise terminal. But oh my god, look at all the clouds up there and all the mountains and all. Wow. See, I reckon it costs maybe 45 American dollars to use some of these things, these boat trips and all this, to drive tourists around town. Which I'm not going to do that because I gotta lose my weight, so I have to walk a lot all over town.